What is the most creepy, unexplained event that has happened in your life? I saw a guy accidentally drop 16-inch concrete drill bit from shoulder height. It never hit the ground. It's like it stopped existing on its way to the floor. No sound of it hitting the floor. Nowhere to go. Just gone. 3 witnesses all saw the same thing. This happened in a completely empty newly constructed building. Hallway was tiled. Walls were cinder block. Newly installed drop ceiling. We had to fill out a missing tool report. Got written up for it. Had to search the entire building top to bottom for hours. I'm a very skeptic person. I can't come up with any reasonable explanation for it. Still think about it when questions like this come up. Sometimes things can just disappear, I guess. Me, my boss and a co-worker were standing at a surface table measuring something when the quarter-ton table moved about 6 inches at one corner across the concrete floor with a loud screech like someone had grabbed it and moved it out of the way. We just looked at each other like, did that just happen? This didn't happen to me, but to a friend. He had a doctor's appointment and took his dad with him. It was in another town about an hour away, and since the appointment was 4:11 AM, they left at 9:30 to give themselves plenty of time. They pulled into the parking lot at 10:30. My friend said he remembered checking the clock in the car when they arrived, and remarking to his dad that they made good time. They went into the office, and the receptionist pointed out that they were a little late, but that it was okay, because the doctor was running behind. My friend told her that he had an 11 o'clock appointment, and that he was actually a half hour early, and she pointed to the clock on the waiting room wall, which said 11:15. His dad checked his watch. 11:15. My friend ran out and checked the clock in the car. 11:15. Somehow, in the few dozen steps from the car to the office, they'd lost 45 minutes. When they got home, my friend's mum verified that they'd left home at 9:30, and there hadn't been heavy traffic or delays of any kind. It's a mystery to this day. A buddy picked me up to go to a couple bars, have a few drinks and whatnot. Everything was fine. I had a nice little drunk going on. Around 11 PM, I went outside to smoke a stogie. Then, boom, I woke up at my house in my bed. The following morning, I don't recall even leaving the bar, let alone how I returned home. I had multiple missed calls from my buddy. Called him up to see what happened, and he said I just disappeared. The creepy part is, after got off the phone with him, I went to the restroom to realize, some way, somehow, during the time I went I had received a haircut and someone shaved my face. Weird. I do my business, only to realize my wiggly bits had been groomed as well, with expertise precision. I must add, not a missed hair, nick or cut. Still to this day don't know what happened, but happened sharing this story with other friends. I was spotted at other bars throughout the night, pre-haircut, and alone. My family was sitting on the back porch watching a thunderstorm. My older brother grabbed a toy gun out of my hand and said, "Watch this." He pointed the gun at a tree in the backyard and pulled the trigger. As the toy gun popped, lightning struck the tree he was aiming at and the tree fell over. He handed me the toy gun back with a smile and walked away. My parents witnessed this event as well. It was one hell of a coincidence, but damn was his smile creepy, like he knew it was going to happen. One time when I was younger, I was upstairs in my room playing some games on a PlayStation. I was home alone, because both of my parents had gone out to see a movie. It was a fairly normal night with nothing out of the ordinary happening until I heard an extremely loud crashing noise and what sounded like glass shattering coming from the kitchen area. I immediately went downstairs to try and see the source of the noise. I checked all of the windows, and they showed no signs of damage. Confused, I kept walking around trying to find the source of this loud crashing noise until I walked over to the kitchen. I don't know how this happened, but apparently the outer glass screen of our oven just completely fell off and shattered. Slightly terrified, I proceeded to sweep up all of the glass and throw it away. I tried explaining the situation to my parents when they got home, but they didn't believe my story and grounded me for a week because they thought I broke it. To this day I still have no clue what caused the oven screen door to shatter like that, and it's one of the biggest unexplained mysteries in my life. Comforter being slowly tugged off of me from the foot of the bed. When I was about 15 I was home alone in my house at night. It was just me and my 3 dogs. My dogs were normally very lazy at night. All they would do is lay in their dog beds chilling out until bedtime. But for some reason on this night they all became very agitated at the same time. They all kept running into different rooms in my house and growled and barked at empty corners, something that they had never done before or since. I checked the whole house and never found anything. I don't believe in anything supernatural, but that night I slept in my parents' bedroom with the door locked, a gun next to me, and all 3 dogs on the bed with me. One night last year I was taking a shower before bed. The glass in the shower door shattered, leaving shards everywhere and me with some cuts and no way to get out of the shower without cutting the soles of my feet badly. Luckily my wife heard and helped me out. The shattering glass is explainable. The door was hanging off the track for months. There must have been pressure on the glass and eventually it got too much. My own fault. In the hour and a half spent cleaning up the glass I realized there was some weird foreshadowing of this event. Earlier that evening I was putting my son to bed. He was 5 at the time and out of nowhere he asked me, "Daddy, what are shards?" Earlier that week I was discussing music with some friends. We were talking about the Eurythmics. With that in mind I was watching some of their music videos at night. About 20 minutes before the glass in the shower door shattered, before my wife had to bring me my slippers so I could walk over the shards of glass without slicing up my feet, I was watching the video for Annie Lennox's Walking on Broken Glasses. Smoking a cigarette outside, as sober as a worm, I see 2 very bright glowing red balls. It looked like they were squirrels playing tag, but they were indeed bright, glowing red balls that almost looked transparent. After a good 2 minutes of watching this, the balls then shot up about 20 feet in the sky, hovered menacingly and just fell. I ran over to the house across the Seine to look in their yard and see where they went. They vanished and that was something I'll probably never see again. Has anyone experienced this as well? My mother died of cancer when I was a little over 30. She got a stroke on a day I was very busy with at school, so my last words to her that she could understand were, "Mum, not now, I'll call you later." 2 hours later she was admitted to a hospital and never woke up again. Half a year later I had a minor surgery, but because not the pain I was given morphine. I was in the hospital bed when my mum came in, took a seat next to my bed and we talked for an hour. It was so extremely real. I felt her touch on my hand and we had a very good conversation. I got to know about morphine only a month later when I received the bill. Till then I was sure it wasn't a hallucination and I started rethinking my opinion about the possibility of an afterlife. I miss her so freaking much I'd take a shot would I know she'd come to visit me again. I was in Big Brothers Big Sisters as a kid. If you don't know what that is, it's a program where adults sign up to mentor kids one-on-one and offer them guidance. I basically hung out with this random guy named Chris for a few hours a week. One day, he told me he was going on vacation and when to expect him back. That date rolled around and I didn't hear from him, so I decided to give him a call. A voice I didn't recognize answered the phone. I asked if Chris was home. The man said that there was nobody by that name there. I double checked that I had the right number and asked the guy if he was sure. He was like, "My wife and I have lived here for years and there has never been a Chris here," so I said sorry and hung up. I never heard from Chris again. First let me say I don't believe in ghosts or demons or anything like that. My wife and I had just gotten married. We lived in a small, 1-bedroom apartment and I got up one night to take a leak and just had a creepy feeling while I'm standing in the bathroom. Like the hairs on my neck were standing up. Anyway, I shake it off and go back to bed. The next morning my wife tells me she had a terrible dream about a demon that was watching her. I didn't tell her about my feeling because it would have scared the shoot out of her. Still weirds me out a little. We participate in Passover, and every year, without fail, our cats begin acting up and interacting with things that we can't see. It's usually a process involving staring at them, running from them, and or hissing at them. Last year, I was curious, so I decided to try to communicate with whatever it was they were after our cats acted up. I said something that went along the lines of asking if anyone was there. My electric duster, which wasn't plugged in, turned on for slightly under a second. In addition to being plugged in, a button needs to be pressed for it to turn on. Nothing happened after that, and I can't find any logical explanation for this. That device, which I still use and have had for years, has never turned on without being plugged in. It doesn't use batteries, either. About 10 years ago I was sitting in my room and I heard my doorknob slowly turning. I thought it was my dad seeing if I was napping and trying to be quiet. I watched the knob turn and heard the springs in the mechanism squeaking and then the sound of the latch slide off the metal plate as it was pushed open a bit, and I sat up to greet my dad and ask what he needed. I didn't see anyone, and then the door moved like it was pushed again and it opened more, only for me to clearly see my dad in the living room sitting on the couch. This was so significant to me that I wrote down the time and exactly what happened. I didn't keep a diary or anything like that. I just couldn't explain it. The door was shut all the way and latched properly, and the air kicking on or another door opening would have sucked the door shut, as it had many times before. At the time, I was also seeing a shadow figure peer around my door frame. About 6 feet tall, solid black. All of my family is like 5'7" or under and very white, and the side it peeked from was about 3 inches from doorframe to wall. No one could fit there, and it would just stare at me in my bed leaning in and out of view.